Well, over time, it is going to look like the most amazing experience you've ever had. But in the beginning, as you're beginning to build a new relationship and a new set of communication patterns and a new way of being honest with each other and being honest with yourself, it's going to be highly uncomfortable. Many people, if not most, will report that in the beginning of doing this work, they feel worse than they ever have. That doesn't sound like a big endorsement of the work, but if you continue looking at that for a minute, you'll see it actually is. And that is simply because before doing this work, I can contribute my unhappiness to a whole wide range of issues. It can be the climate, it can be the color of the house, it can be whatever it is. It's spread out all over the place. And so I do feel a very deep and barely noticeable but low level of discomfort, but I never go to the source of it. In this work, I'm going to go to the source. And the source is my identity. The source is me. I am the cause of this relationship not being so wonderful. Not my partner. I am. Once I realize that, my ego then translates that in, and then it's all your fault. And so one of the biggest steps there's two big steps I have to take in the beginning. One is to say it's all about me, and second of all, that nothing has gone wrong. So there is no fault. There's nothing wrong with my relationship. Even though we think we hate each other and want a divorce or we want to get away from each other, whatever it is, there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with it is to believe it. What's wrong is to give in to what my ego tells me should be changed, which is my partner always. There's no question she should be changed, and as soon as we change her, I'll be happy. Don't give in to that. If I give in to that thought, then I'm stuck. Because then I will continue to try. I'll send her off to therapy, I'll send her off to workshops, I'll send her off to yoga camps, whatever it is. I'm going to change her somehow, and then she's going to come back and she's going to be the ideal partner. It will never happen. It will not happen for the simple reason that she's already the ideal partner. I just don't see it. And what am I seeing? I am seeing myself. I'm seeing myself reflected in my partner. So when couples come for couple work or relationships work or marital work, the most important thing and the most difficult step in the beginning is to take ownership of the entire relationship. There was for a while a popular saying, I'm 50% responsible or 100% responsible for 50% of the relationship. Now you have to think about that for a minute. How long do you think that is going to be a straight proposition? I'm 100% responsible for 50% of the relationship. I will determine what that 50% is. And the ego will very quickly start slipping that to, she is 100% responsible for my experience. That's how the ego works. The ego always works in blame and victim. So most relationships that I work with, that we work with as an organization, come entirely from blame and victim. If my partner didn't do X, Y, and Z, I'd be happy. If the other partner changed this, then I'd be happy. And what you're learning here, and what is so incredibly exciting and rewarding, is that it's all about me. I have to change my beliefs about myself, and I will have an entirely new experience. Another reason why relationships are so challenging and often experienced as let's say, less than joyful, is because I'm reflecting my own beliefs back. I'm seeing my own beliefs. And there's not a belief I hold about myself that is actually loving. So what I'm seeing constantly is a not loving situation, which is me. But I think it's my partner. And so the key to this work is to take that back. Say, I am looking at myself. This is me. And I don't like what I'm seeing. Well, if I don't look what I'm seeing, and I'd be very surprised if anybody really liked what they're seeing when they start looking at their beliefs. If I don't like what I'm seeing, I'm going to have to change what I'm seeing. Now, how do I do that? I have to change my identity. I have to start looking at all my core beliefs, and there's usually not that many of them, 2, 3, 4, that's about it. But I have to start correcting those. If I don't correct them, I'm going to be in the same relationship, and I'll leave this partner and go to the next one. It will make absolutely no difference. I'm always in relationship with the self. Now the question is, there's two selves. One is the capital S self, which is the higher self, the loving self, whatever you want to call it. That's the magnificent being that I am in truth, that my partner is in truth. So if I'm in a relationship with my higher self and I extend that higher self to my relationships, they will be magnificent. If I'm in a relationship with the small s self, the self-made identity, the ego identity, every relationship will be miserable. It doesn't matter where I go. Now people can actually separate these things out. They can have a great business relationship at work and a lousy relationship at home. But you can only sustain that for a little bit. Because the lousy relationship at home is what Punja calls the drop of cyanide in the honey. So my life is the honey, there's a drop of cyanide, which is my relationship at home. It no longer is honey. It no longer is honey. That relationship at home is going to infect all my other relationships. And the reverse is also true. If I think I have a wonderful married relationship, fantastic, I absolutely love everything, but my work really sucks, sooner or later it's going to affect my other relationships as well. It's inevitable. So relationship work is probably the most exciting work we can do, because everything is relationship, and it's the most rewarding, and it's really, really not that hard. Provided we don't work on behavior modification. I remember a long time ago in the 60s I had relationship counseling, and the counseling centered around agreements of I'll do the dishes if you do this, and if you do that then I'll do that, and it was all bargaining and behavior, and that went absolutely nowhere. And most relationship counseling is based on that. It's based on behaving and changing the partner's behavior so everybody is happy and their needs are met. This work is not. This work has nothing to do with your behavior. Your behavior doesn't have to change. Now, if you do violent things or you felt very destructive, either to me or to yourself, that will have to stop. That's true. But everything else is just part of who I think I am, and I'm going to have to look at it sooner or later.